everybody. Welcome to the latest episode of Theater Tuesdays. And this is a show where we like to talk all things theater, musicals, and plays. So much fun. And I am theater critic Rachel Wagner. And today I have with me Mackenzie Tolk Houmand with me. And I just recently saw her in a production of ADDAMS Family that was super fun. And I really enjoyed it. So I thought, hey, let's have her on Theater Tuesdays. Let's get to know her a little bit. And thank you so much, Mackenzie, for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited. It was fun to have you come to ADDAMS Family and give us such a nice review.
Well, I was really tired that day, and I actually saw 2 shows that day, and I had just gotten back from a trip, and so I was like, I don't know if I want to go. Should I just eat this one? But I'm like, now because I had told them on Instagram, I was like, I'm coming on Saturday. And so since I told them, I was like, okay, I'm going to go. And then it was so delightful.
Oh my gosh. Yay.
Yeah.
And, I'm so glad you ended up coming.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that you had one of those days.
Well, and the other show I saw that day was also excellent. I saw Sweeney Todd at the Grand. I was just, I just gotten home from a trip and I was just tired this is the thing with theater is that I can't think of a single time when I've been like, why did I get this ticket? That I'm not glad that even if I don't really love the show, I'm still glad that I pushed myself and go and support the arts and and it was, we'll talk more about it, but it was a great production. I have my issues with ADDAMS Family as far as the book and some of the other things about it, but I thought it was excellent. I mean, I sat there thinking, can this show be done much better? I mean, aside from I guess you could have like a live orchestra, some other things like that, but as far as like this level of production, it was outstanding.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. We sure had a great time with it.
Oh,
I miss it.
It looked like
it was fun. It was a blast.
I mean, you can feel the family dynamic. It makes that show. So this is your first time on the podcast. So why don't you introduce yourself to the audience and tell us a little bit about how did you first develop your love of music and musical theater?
Yeah, great. Yeah, so I'm Mackenzie. I have been involved in music since I was little. I started with choir. When I was a kid, I was in the Salt Lake Children's Choir, very classical. Took piano lessons all growing up. And then I was probably 9 or 10 when I auditioned for my first community theater musical, and I just got hooked, as we all do. And loved it, and went on to be a theater kid in high school. And I studied music at BYU. I didn't study theater, but I was a little bit involved in theater, and but I mostly was focused on singing. And then I've just done various musical theater performances around Utah. I'm from Utah. I've always lived in Utah, so it's all Utah stuff for me, and it's been great, and I love it.
Do you remember the first role you ever got?
Ooh, that's a good question. The first real role I think I ever got was in Annie Jr. I was Grace Farrell, the secretary to Oliver Warbucks. That was the first thing I can remember, being really excited about and feeling like I got a lead role. And I was 14, I think.
Nice.
And it was great. And then I ended up dating Oliver Warbucks.
Oh, you did. A
little showman.
Yeah, a showman. So nice.
So that's a fun little 14-year-old story for you. But yeah, that's probably the earliest one I can remember.
Yeah. So what shows did you do in high school or as part of your high school?
So in high school, we did 42nd Street.
Okay.
And I was basically ensemble. I think I had like one line. And then my junior year, we did Crazy for You. And I was, I got the lead in that one. I was Polly, and it was fun.
basically the same show. I feel like they're very, very similar.
I
know. You must have had a theater instructor who loved tap dancing and that kind of aesthetic. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, when she announced Crazy for You the next year, we were kind of like, oh, okay. We just did 40
same cast.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I did do a lot of tap dancing. I mean, not
you
a
just
lot.
do anything goes, and you'd have the trifecta.
Right. Yeah. But then senior year, we did Once on This Island.
Oh, okay.
Which is totally different.
Totally different. Yeah.
And it kind of, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that one. But we had fun.
Well, yeah, it probably is best to have it be in an area where you can have it cast correctly.
Exactly.
that correct?
Exactly. That was the major issue, I think, with choosing that show. But
we had the same kind of thing in my high school. Because we did The Wiz. And this was in Maryland. And we had a great time. Absolutely blast. But you would never do that. I don't think now that you never have a white cast do The Wiz.
Right. Exactly. I know. It's like, let's really carefully consider those choices.
That's right. I actually just saw 42nd Street for the first time at the Center Point up in Bountiful. They did it.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have to admit, I didn't love it. I thought it was kind of boring.
Yeah, it's not. There's not much of a story.
Yeah, I mean, they did a great job. All the dancing, outstanding. I mean, they always do an incredible. If you've never been to that theater, it's really, really good. Center Point.
I actually haven't.
Yeah, you should.
I've
Center
always
Point Legacy.
Heard great things.
Yeah, and reasonably priced. They keep their tickets $20 ish.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so compared to Hale, compared to Pioneer Theater Company, those kind of, I feel like it's on that level, and they keep the price very reasonable and just extra good quality. So I mean, in the costumes were really good for 42nd Street.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, but it's a long show, and I just didn't. I don't know. I was just kind of bored by it.
Yeah.
I was like, that's check off my list. I probably don't need to see that one ever again.
It's not one of my favorites.
Yeah, I could probably put that on my overrated.
Yeah, that one could be overrated. Yeah, that's not one of the best. But we had fun.
I mean, it is what it is. It's it's just that kind of young ingenue show, and but it's so we did The Wiz, and then we did Bye Bye Birdie, which I really think Bye Bye Birdie is the perfect show for high school.
Yeah,
because
you're right.
I think that for high school, you want to do a show that has lots of ensemble scenes. You want to do a show that has lots of solo scenes so that everybody gets a chance, or as many people. I firmly believe that anybody who wants to participate in a high school production should be able to participate. Like, I love it. You should pick shows that you can add another person to the back. You can have another person in the crowd. Because how do you know if you like something if you never get a chance to try? Are you a fan of Rachel's Reviews? Do you look forward to Family Movie Night, Female Film Critics Panels, or the Talking Disney podcast? If so, please consider supporting the podcast by becoming a Patreon. As a patron, you get to access monthly events such as the watch-alongs and Q&As, where you get to talk to stars and find out the behind the scenes of the movie making industry. And you can pick what I review for Family Movie Night, or even become a guest on the podcast. Podcasts and YouTube channels are expensive, and I really, really could use your help. I would so appreciate it. You also get to be a member of the Facebook group where we talk about all the films that we're seeing, and we have so much fun. Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies and select one of the Rachel's fan tiers. That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
And that's really the point of high school theater is to figure out if you like it and get some experience and learn. Yeah, that totally makes sense. I love that.
My sister did Into the Woods, and if you saw my video, my feelings about Into the Woods. But even that withstanding, I don't think it's a very good show for high school because it really doesn't have any ensemble scenes. It's all just the main cast. There's no sort of crowd scenes in
right. No, that's true. There's not usually an ensemble at all.
No.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a good show to do for high school.
Right.
I mean, I don't think it's a good show to do.
Right.
That's extreme. I honestly, I don't hate Into the Woods. I just don't love it.
Well, it is not one of my favorites. And I know, like you said, it is a popular one. Like I think a lot of theater people love it. And I'm not one of the ones that loves it.
I think it's seen here in Utah as like the safe, family friendly Sondheim.
Yeah.
Which is really funny because when you really think about it, it's kind of not. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's commenting on all of those things and trying to all those traditional family friendly kind of things. It's actually sort of criticizing and satirizing them and commenting on them and whatever. And it was really funny. I went to see it at Kensington Theater, which is an underrated theater.
Oh,
and
okay.
Yeah, it's very good. And it was a great production. The director, she had a Into the Woods dress. It had like the playbill on her dress. And so she was like hardcore. And she gets up, she's like, please don't leave at the end of Act 1. Please stay the whole time.
Oh my gosh.
And that made me laugh.
Oh, I have to tell you a story about that because so Greg Rampton played Gomez in our production of Addams Family. And he told me like years ago, he went on a date to see Into the Woods and left at intermission. Oh. They didn't know that it was.
They thought it was done.
They thought it was over.
That's hilarious.
And he didn't know until years later that there's an Act 2 of it.
Well, maybe that's why she said it.
Yeah, I guess it does happen. Sometimes people leave.
Yeah, because it does have a sense of sort of conclusion, and that's the whole thing about the second act. You
know, it does. Like I can see why you would think it would be over.
That's really funny.
It's like, and they all lived happily ever after.
Yeah,
and then Act 2, just wow.
I've rarely left at intermission. I've been tempted a couple of times, but I usually try to tough it out. Right. I left over at West Valley. They're amazing over there, but I left the play Puffs.
Oh, really? I've heard that's a good one, but I don't know much about it.
Well, I'm like a marginal Potter person. I mean, I appreciate them. I liked them, but I'm not in the fandom. I don't love them. And so I think that's part of it. But to me, it was very what I call looks like. Instead of being actual jokes, it was this looks like what you know and love from the movies and books. This looks like what, and to me that was just very like, this is not funny. This is just looking like a lot of other stuff that I could just go home and watch that other stuff and enjoy that more than this. But Scott Savage, who writes for UTBA, he's been on in Theater Tuesday. He loves it. He absolutely adores it. And so, teach their own. It wasn't for me. And I was just like, I can just tell this is just not for me. And the only reason I went was because I had season tickets. So I was like, I'll give it a shot. And I just, not for me.
Yeah, it seems very niche. Like if you're a hardcore Harry Potter person, then you'll love it. And everybody else, maybe not. So that's tricky.
Well, speaking of shows, did you have that like first show that you really loved that you kind of fangirled over?
Oh, yeah. I mean, probably it's always when I try to pick my, my favorite, it's always, they also were, the first ones I fell in love with. It's always Phantom and Les Mis. Mm-hmm. Like those are, and I know some people would maybe put those in the overrated category, and I think they're properly rated. I think they're very good.
Yeah, I can understand because they are so popular, because this overrated doesn't mean you necessarily hate it. It just means you don't love it as much as other people. And so I get it, but I'd have the same answer because I am a huge Les Mis fan. And the very first cast recording or whatever that I ever got was from my grandma gave me a best of Andrew Lloyd Webber tape,
Oh,
cassette tape.
yeah.
And I listened to that thing backwards and forwards. And then she took me to see Phantom of the Opera when I was like 8, 9, something like that, in San Francisco. And I was totally blown away. And then in high school, I got super, super obsessed with Les Mis. Really, really into it. And the 10-year anniversary concert had just come out around that time. And so you'd wait until it came on PBS and you're like, record, you know what I mean? And I knew every line to every song. If they had needed a swing at any time, I could have.
You could jump right up there.
I really could have. I just loved that show, and I still to this day love that show. And it was that and The Little Mermaid were like the foundation of like media for me as a and music for me as a kid. Those were the most like influential things for me. And then also in 91 seeing Home Alone.
Yeah.
Home Alone was the first comedy that I ever really loved. And
that's a great one.
Yeah. I went with my grandparent, the same grandma who was I was very close with, and we went to see Home Alone, and I just died laughing. I thought it was the best.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
Never gets old.
Yeah. And have you done a New York trip? Have you gone out there?
Yep. I have been out there several times. I actually saw the Addams Family on Broadway with the original cast.
Nice.
And it's fun to think, years later, I got to do it. I got to be Morticia. It's cool. So I've been out there a few times. It's the best. It's been a few years. I need to go again.
Yeah. It's really fun. I just did a trip I was there for the New York Film Festival. And so I kind of did both. I did some Broadway, I did some, films, and that was super fun.
That is fun.
Yeah. So I was listening to your music and
thanks.
And so and so you have at least this latest album, you have a Celtic influences.
Yeah.
So how did that end up happening, and kind of tell us a little bit about your music?
So I recorded my first album when I was a teenager, like 17. And that one had a little bit of the Celtic influence. It's kind of funny because it's really just that I love that kind of music. I wish I could say that I have like Celtic ancestry, but I don't really. I just love it. I have now, in the last few years, I've been able to go to Ireland and be there, and it was amazing, and it was so inspiring. And but I mean, the Celtic influence was kind of just because I love that style of music, and I have, some of my music is vocal and some is instrumental, and it's just all kind of with the intention of bringing people peace, in a crazy world. So
so what instruments do you play?
So I just play the piano and sing, and then I do a lot also with synthesizer, ethereal sounding synthesizer pads and things like that, and then adding in background ooze and kind of creating this atmosphere of peaceful music.
Yeah, cool, good.
Thanks for listening.
Sure. So you had mentioned in your little bio that you gave me that you had played the Baroness in Sound of Music. Yes. So that must be a fun kind of role to play.
Oh, it was so fun, and it was with that same company that did Addams Family. Okay. It was just it was this year. It was just in
I missed
April
that.
Or in May, April and May. And it was fun. It was a fun role. It was, I auditioned hoping to either be considered for Maria or the Baroness. and I got called back for the Baroness and just had a blast with it at callbacks and was lucky enough to be cast. And yeah, it was a fun one. Yeah. Being a little snobby but also finding kind of the realness of the character, and it was great.
How did you end up with Timpanogos? Is it just nearby where you lived and you heard about it, or how did you end up auditioning for them?
Yes, that's exactly what happened. So I'm so lucky. So I moved to Pleasant Grove last year, and then was just looking for auditions and came across the Sound of Music audition notice, and and now I've done 2 shows with them and they're great. But yeah, it's really that's what happened there. It's just close to my house.
Yeah, they're excellent. I saw Mamma Mia there.
Oh, okay. I heard that was a really good one.
Yeah, it was super fun. And then one more I can't think of right now.
Welcome to the Pilot Podcast. My name is BJ.
And my name is Me Too. And we promise this promo is worth it, so please don't skip ahead.
We're 2 judgy friends who put our judgmental skills to work for you. We review the pilot episodes of new and popular shows and shows that our listeners request to answer your question, should I watch this?
Look, a lot of us are spending a lot more time at home, and yes, we should be reading and trying new projects and enriching ourselves, but does anything beat binging a great show?
Let us take the guesswork out of deciding what your next show will be. Tune in to The Pilot Podcast at thepilotpodcast.com.
You would never guess in a million years the quality of the productions from this little obscure, hidden theater that in American Fork, Utah. You would never guess.
It's fun.
What makes it so fun.
Yeah, it's just amazing to find hidden gems like that. Just putting on great theater. I love it. I feel so lucky.
Yeah. Let's see if I can see on here. I guess. Oh yeah, Addams Family. Maybe it is only Mamma Mia that I've seen there, but I really didn't. I did really enjoy it. I mean, that's such a silly show, but it's fun.
Yeah, it is a silly show, but it's cute.
Yeah, catchy songs.
Very catchy songs.
Yeah. My only problem with my only problem with Addams Family is I think that ending of the first act is rough.
I remember you saying that in your review, and you're right.
I hate the full disclosure. It goes on so long, that song. It's just like, geez.
It's so long because it's all of them, giving their confessions, and it's like Gomez has this huge monologue, and then now Fester's giving a monologue, and now Grandma, and now Alice is singing a whole song about it, and it's like it's very long. As a cast member, it's fun, but as I can see how as an audience member, it can just drag on.
Honestly, I think that they could just almost remove the entire almost anything with what's his name's parents. Like that takes up so much time of the show, and they do a wonderful job, in the roles. But I think they could get rid of that whole thing, because it's really about Gomez and Wednesday and then also Morticia and Gomez, and there's just so much time spent on this other couple that we don't really care about.
Right. Yeah, I get what you mean. It is kind of like, just a lot of extra stuff.
Yeah. But so you were the narrator in Joseph, and I don't know if you know, but Joseph is the most produced show in Utah.
Really? I mean, I'm not surprised, because it does seem like it's done a lot, but I didn't know that. Yeah, well, that was one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's a fun show. It's another good one for high schools to do, because it has a ton of ensemble. Like, you can just add as many people as you want to those. Almost every song is an ensemble song.
Yeah, right. Yes. Yeah. You're right. That is a good one.
I should do that as a topic for Theater Tuesdays. Best shows for high school.
Yeah, you should.
I really should. Yeah,
that would be good.
That would be good.
You can help some people make better choices for their high school shows.
We did one episode that was a lot of fun, where we did Pick This Show, Not This. So it was, Tanner Tate was on with me. And so like,
I know him.
Yeah, he's great. He was Jekyll in Draper at Jekyll. They did Jekyll and Hyde. Blew me away.
I wish I would have seen it.
I mean, it was as good as anything I saw on Broadway.
Oh my gosh,
really.
He's amazing. So I'm not surprised.
It was so impressive, not just his beautiful voice, but just the way that he captured the transformation and the physicality of the role. I was blown away. It was so good.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, Joseph is a ton of fun. So I understand why it gets done. It's done so much.
It's fun.
It'll be interesting to see now that Phantom of the Opera and Cats and some of these other shows are now regionals are able to do them now.
Yeah.
If that sort of supplants Joseph, and we don't see it quite as much. I think it's probably been reduced a little bit. The Addams Family has done a lot. The last 2 years. It has been. I actually just saw it again at Corner Canyon High. There was a friend.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. But Into the Woods has done a lot. Much to my chagrin.
Your favorite.
And my favorite. And what's the other one that's just done? I mean, even though I do love it, Singing in the Rain is done a lot. That one is I've seen that many times. But yeah. And so then you were Meg in Little Women. Where was that at?
So that's an interesting story. So there was this place called Shine Space in Sandy. Mm-hmm. And they held auditions for a show and then went out of business.
Oh no.
And it was really cool though. So what happened was the director just said, we've got this cast and I still want to do this show. So we're going to find a new venue and we're going to make it happen. And so we performed it at Lake Ridge Junior High in Orem.
Okay.
And it was just kind of a like independent show. And now she is wanting to kind of start her own theater company. It's called Fields and Co. So she's really made the most of the situation. She wasn't the founder of that company that went out of business. She was hired on to direct this show. And what she did was amazing. She just said, we're going to make it happen. And we did. But yeah, that was a fun one. I love Little Women.
Yeah. Yeah. I really like that show too. I particularly love Some Things Are Meant to Be.
That's
I think it's
the best.
It is one of the most beautiful duets I've ever heard.
It's amazing.
I love that one.
That's the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you'd done this show for them for Timpanogos. And so then you heard about Addams Family. Since most of it, at least from your website, it looks like most of what you've done is pretty wholesome, and it's a wholesome show. But we're quite a little bit more sex appeal than maybe some of the other roles. So what was that like for you? Was that a little intimidating, a little scary to do?
Morticia is such an iconic character. It was very intimidating at first. And I had a great director who really, really pushed me to find Morticia. And I think she was in me all along because they must have seen something at callbacks, but it was intimidating, and it was a bit of a stretch, and I learned so much from that experience. Like you said, playing a character that's kind of different from other characters I've played, and now she's my favorite character. I want to be Morticia forever. It was great. I loved it.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
Was that fun for your family to see you in such a different role?
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was really fun. Well, I should tell you, and this is totally different, but along the same lines, I have been in the Addams Family before.
Okay.
Several years ago, I played Wednesday.
No way.
I had dipped into the Addams world and had a blast. But at the same time, Morticia is very different from Wednesday, of course, you know, so it was still a totally different experience. And that previous production was at Draper Historic Theater that you mentioned earlier.
Okay.
It was fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I love Addams Family.
So you had such good chemistry with Gomez in the production. Was that something you worked together to kind of develop, and or was it just natural? You just became, quick friends?
It was both. We at one of the first, so we didn't know each other before at all. We met at callbacks, and in one of the first rehearsals, our director was talking about. She said, "I want you to convince the audience that you've been married for 25 years," and that is kind of intimidating with somebody you've just met,
right?
And so we started having a lot of conversations about our characters. We just talked a lot about probably every interaction, like every line that we exchanged with each other. We'd really talk about things and what's going on, in between the scenes with them, and just really talking about it a lot. And that helped a ton. And then along the way, we also just became really, really good friends, just super close friends. So it was great. It was amazing to have somebody that I could really explore the relationship with like that. It was amazing. He's great.
They I really enjoyed both of you a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I had said in my video shows that I thought were overrated, and I like to ask my guests on this if you have a pick of a show that you think people love this and I just don't love it.
Well, it's funny you say that, because you mentioned, and I shouldn't even say this because I haven't seen it.
Oh, okay.
But I just thought it was funny because you mentioned Six.
And
people always talk about that, and I haven't seen it, so I can't really give a full opinion on it. But I cannot get into it from the things I've seen, and I've listened to the soundtrack, and I've always felt like it just seems like a concert. And then it was funny to watch your video, and that's what you said. It's just kind of like a concert. And so I don't really understand the hype, but I also haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But I know that you feel that same way.
Yeah, it's coming to Salt Lake next year. So if you want to see it, you can.
I probably should though, but I don't really want to.
Yeah. I mean, I thought, should I give it? Because the day I did see it, we were super rushed. We barely got there on time. I was exhausted. And you sit down, you've paid like $100 for this, show or whatever, in New York, and you're crammed in, the seats are super uncomfortable, all those things. And you sit down and you're just like, what? That's it? That was all? There's no intermission. There's no, and so I have wondered, it's like, should I give it another try? And see if I like it better?
I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, Hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies.
I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah. Well, one other question I always like to ask is, some people criticize current musical theater and say it's like an amusement park. You've got your corporate, you've got your SpongeBob's and Shreks and Disney and, all this stuff like that. And not as many like original new shows, can make it. How do you feel about that? What do you think?
That's interesting, because I don't think I have heard that analogy before, and it does kind of ring true, because I think about like some of the more recent musicals, like I'm seeing have you seen like The Great Gatsby?
Yeah. And I mean,
great.
I went and saw 5 shows and my favorite was Back to the Future. And I was like, what kind of critic am I? Like, I'm so uncultured, but it was so fun.
No, that one seems so good.
So
and that's what I was going to say, actually. I was going to say, The Great Gatsby looks so good. And I know it's not an original, it's based on a book, but it's based on a great book. And I think it looks awesome. So I don't know. I guess I can see that, but I still think it's possible to make something new and fresh, even drawing on existing source material.
Yeah. And I mean, it looked like what they did with The Lion King, that they took this material that everybody knew and told it so different that it was its own work of art. So yeah, you sometimes it's just a jumping off point for real creativity to happen.
Right.
And I can understand, and it is frustrating when new and original shows can't last more than, a couple of months.
Right.
That is a little bit sad, but I do think that a lot of times these shows based on movies are really good gateway musicals for people. That
I love that.
They can develop their love for musical theater and hopefully then be encouraged maybe for something a little more edgy, a little bit more, different and go from there. So
Right. Yeah, maybe it makes it a little more accessible for people who wouldn't otherwise be interested in musicals.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with The Lion King. That's such a good example. Mm-hmm. It's so connected to the movie and yet so its own thing and different and incredible. I love that one.
Do you have a dream role that you would most love to play?
Yeah. I mean, probably Belle in Beauty and the Beast.
Mm-hmm. Didn't they just do that at Timanogus?
Yeah, they did. I know. Yeah. I did Sound of Music, and then they did Beauty and the Beast, and then I did Addams Family. I have to have a little break.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, it's not all the time, so hopefully you'll get a chance, because I will be there.
Right.
Let me know.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
But Morticia was a dream role too.
We've got to get somebody to cast you as Fantine. I think you would be excellent.
That is totally another one. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a total dream.
Mm-hmm.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Well, we have some fun get to know you questions. We'd like to end the interview.
Oh, great.
First question.
I can't wait.
What is the best ice cream flavor?
Cookies and cream.
Nice.
I know that's not very exciting, but that's just what I love.
It's really good. What is your favorite color?
Purple.
Mine too. Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. That's great.
What is your favorite original cast recording?
Oh, original cast. Oh my gosh, that's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a hard question. Because for Phantom and Les Mis, which are my favorite musicals, I don't prefer the original cast.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah.
I love them. I love them.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like the 25th anniversary of the Phantom of the Opera.
That one's a good one too.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think I really like Waitress, and I think that's a really good recording.
Yeah. You excited about the pro shot?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
hyped.
so excited. I can't wait. I really can't wait. Yeah, I'm super excited about that.
Yeah. Okay, what is your go-to date night food?
Ooh, my go-to date night food. Probably ice cream. Well, ice cream probably ice cream. Oh, no, I know. I love Crave cookies. I love Crumble too, but I've been into Crave lately. I love cookies.
Yeah.
I just love treats, I guess.
All right. What is your go-to date night activity? You're going out and doing something.
If we're going out and doing something, I really love going to movies and getting popcorn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I always say that the key is, because people say dinner and a movie. No, what you want to do is you want to do movie and dinner.
Oh, yes.
Because then you can talk about the movie at dinner.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And if I go to a big dinner before a movie, then I'm too full for popcorn.
That's true. And you might fall asleep, or I would fall asleep.
Oh, yeah, true. Like a food coma.
Yep. Yeah.
Good point.
All right. Which do you like better, dogs or cats?
I like both, but probably cats because I grew up with a cat.
Okay. Which do you like better, beaches or mountains?
Beaches.
Me too. What's your favorite holiday to celebrate?
Christmas.
Good.
I can't wait. I'm a December birthday, so I just love December and Christmas.
Yeah. What is your favorite musical movie?
Ooh. I think La La Land.
Mm-hmm.
I really like La La Land.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should say this, but I love the casting, but I also wish that they had cast stronger singers because I think that would have made a difference. But I also love them in their roles, so I don't know. I really like the movie. I love the vibe of it.
I like it too. I got kind of soured on it when it came out because people were acting like it was the like savior of musicals, and I'm like, wait. I mean, because even that same year there was Moana, there was Sing Street, there was the last 5 years there's like movies
that's a
that
good
are
one.
So it just kind of, I sort of started to resent it a little bit, like, it's a good movie, but like, come on.
I wouldn't go that far. But
now I've kind of warmed back up to it.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, it's beautifully made and beautifully done. And so, yeah, I mean, have you seen Sing Street? Have you ever seen that?
No, I haven't seen that.
Highly recommend it.
Okay.
It came out the same year, and it is just great. It's director John Carney, all his movies are all sort of music themed. And and he did one called Once.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he actually has a new movie out just this month called Flora and Son, which is cute. It's not as good as the other ones, but it's cute. But Sing Street is just the best. And unfortunately it was one of the last movies that the Weinsteins produced, and so it got kind of like lost in that mess. I mean, they have the movie has nothing to do with them, but because of that timing, and
that's a bummer.
like the Oscar push and the other things that it deserved, and I was so mad that year because it has all these banger songs, and Sting got nominated for a song about a chair.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, how did the chair song get nominated?
Oh man.
So mad. It was
something about a chair. Oh yeah.
Forgive the chair song. But anyway, it's a great movie. You should check it out.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah. It's all about a teenager in the 80s who has this crush on this girl. He wants to impress the girl, so he asks her to be a model in his music video for his band. But the thing is, he doesn't have a band, and so he has to get his friends together and start a band.
Oh my gosh, funny! I love it already.
It's on Netflix.
Oh, perfect! I'm totally gonna watch it. I really will.
Oh, there we go.
That's great.
So there we go. You did it. You answered all the questions.
Yay! And now I'm gonna watch Sing Street.
Yay! Let me know what you think. You have to message me.
It sounds great. It sounds totally like my kind of movie.
Yeah. So if people want to find your music, follow you on socials, how do they do that?
Yeah, so it's Mackenzie Tolk. So I just use that's my music name. That's my maiden name and my music name. So it's TOLK, and my Instagram is just Mackenzie Tolk Music.
Great. And I'll have that all in the description. People can follow you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I would love it.
Yeah. And you can follow me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes, and my theater reviews at rachelsreviewstheater.com. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews, 5 stars. That really helps a lot. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and check out my whole playlist of Theater Tuesday check out my playlist of all of my Theater Tuesday content. It's a lot of fun. And check out the Patreon. That's a great way you can support me and all that I do. And also have the merch store. You can get I'm a Theater Girl shirts new, which I'm really excited about. And that kind of had a Barbie inspiration to this year's merch store. And so we have I'm a Hallmark girl, and I'm a theater girl, and I'm an animation girl, all that fun stuff. It's just the stuff that I like.
I love that.
So check it out. And thanks so much. It's so great to meet you and talk with you more. And we'll talk to you all later. Bye.